A quick look back from Falcon. Another look back. Remember, he wants to finish this race as slowly as possible while still picking up winners' points and the championship. Rono closes quickly, but Joe Falcon knows he has it made.
Joe Falcon has it made all right, only now he's making it on the streets of Bentonville, serving the public as a police officer.
You really have the opportunity to make a difference. Each day when you go home, you can say, you know, well, I really, you know, did good for the community, which has been so supportive of me.
Falcon is best remembered for his quickness on the track as he helped the University of Arkansas start an amazing string of national championships back in 1984. Just because he's chosen a career in law enforcement doesn't mean he's given up running. In fact, Falcon's planning for the day when he chases a gold medal in Atlanta.
This will really be my last opportunity to, you know, let alone compete in the Olympics, but maybe be fortunate to get a medal. That it's a very big motivating factor at this point in time. And also, I would like to do it for my family and in particular also the citizens of Northwest Arkansas.
Falcon trains at night and keeps Bentonville safe during the day. But his athletic status isn't making him a celebrity at work. In fact, to his co-workers, Falcon's just another rookie.
I think one of the reasons why I was hired was instead of having to have a canine unit, they can just have me, and then that way I get out and chase people instead of having to send a dog out, and there's been a lot of jokes about that.
Falcon joined the police force last August. He's saving up vacation time to take that anticipated trip to the '96 Summer Games.
Like most young high school graduates, 18-year-old Shaylin Arnold is ambitious. Her dream was for Burt Reynolds to be the guest speaker at her graduation ceremony in the real town of Evening Shade, Arkansas. So she wrote him a letter. Reynolds didn't promise her anything, but he did invite her out to Hollywood to meet the cast of the CBS show Evening Shade.
I remember when I used to watch Smokey and the Bandit, and I always thought, boy, Burt Reynolds is good looking, I'd like to meet him. You know.
In March, Shaylin got her wish. Throughout the whole trip, she was escorted in a limousine and even got a small part in the show.
It was like being a movie star for 3 days. Every time I turned around, I had a surprise waiting for me.
But the real surprise came when Reynolds accepted her invitation.
You know I'm coming, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do now.
Friday night, Reynolds kept his promise.
Well, let's welcome Burt Reynolds.
He gave a moving 20-minute speech preparing the seniors for their journey ahead. He also told them to be proud of who they are and where they came from.
I got to tell you something. When you finally really do what they call make it, whatever that is, what you want is a house in a town like this. When you make it.
The seniors returned Reynolds' generosity with a special souvenir.
I'd like to present Mr. Burt Reynolds with the real Evening Shade Letterman jacket.
And that's the story of a young girl whose dream came true and how her classmates graduated in a small town called Evening Shade. If you ever get the chance to drive through the real town of Evening Shade, Arkansas, the first thing you'll notice is the pace of life here is slow. The second is it's nothing like the CBS sitcom.
This was like a time capsule coming in here. I mean, when you've been in Los Angeles and New York, there's no rush here.
The town is a lot smaller than it looks on TV, and the only store on Main Street is Grady's Grocery. What do you think about the real show Evening Shade?
Well, I think it's cute and it's kind of family-oriented.
Things here are still done the old-fashioned way, and that's how the townspeople want to keep it.
It hasn't changed hardly any.
Patty Sample remembers the stories. She lives in one of the oldest homes in Evening Shade. It was once owned by her grandparents.
You do feel like you are at home. You feel you're not searching for something. You've got a lot of contentment.
Sample admits she's left the town of Evening Shade many times, but she's never stayed gone too long. Something always manages to draw her back.
The heritage that you feel from the closeness that we have, where you're at ease. I think that's the main thing, and I feel comfortable on the front porch.
Others say it's the closeness of the community.
That's the way it's always been here. Everybody knows everybody else. They're all, and everybody's friends.
The townspeople don't seem to mind all the national attention as long as it doesn't change the real town of Evening Shade. I'm Kelly Kemp, TV5 First Team.
For many of these people, standing in a long line never seemed so worthwhile. What's the highest you'll take row-wise?
Oh, I don't know. We have no idea. I'm going to buy a ticket no matter what, so we're going to get in if I have to sit in the back row. I don't know.
For most of these ticket buyers, this is no ordinary concert. Many of those who bought their seats to see Billy Joel and Elton John say they'd pay the $54 price to see one of them, let alone both of them together.
He's kind of timeless. You know, I've heard about him all my life.
Never seen him, though?
No, I've never seen him.
But all was not well for those who arrived early. Tickets were sold on a lottery basis, and many of those who arrived way early ended up with worse seats than those who came 2 hours later.
If I can't get him between the first and the third row, I don't want him on the floor. So, but hopefully I can get him.
We're the first people in line after the lottery. We didn't make it here fast enough to actually get a number, but we're here right after all the people that did.
But most of those who spent the morning in line say wherever they sit, Billy Joel and Elton John together is worth it. In Fayetteville, Ron Palmer, TV5 First Team.
A standing room only crowd of 600 greeted Perot in the University Ballroom. The purpose of the speech was to help raise interest in a third party, more specifically the Reform Party. Those who came to hear the former presidential candidate speak did so for various reasons.
Well, I just want to hear what Mr. Perot is saying.
Why?
He's a very interesting man. He's got a very interesting message.
I'm interested in that long-term capital gains tax to see if we think we can get that reduced by January.
I voted for him before, and I wish that he would run for president again. I think we've had enough of politicians, and I think he's just something different. I think the state that we're in right now, I think Ross could help.
Petitions were available for those who wanted to support the effort to put the Reform Party on the ballot. In order to land on the ballot in Arkansas, more than 21,000 signatures are needed from registered voters. And the man heading the drive says there's no doubt they'll get it done.
We've got to do it so that we can face and solve our problems in a careful, thoughtful, rational way, as opposed to train wrecks, stunts, people pouting, and all the stuff you see now.
Perot spent more than an hour talking about issues ranging from Bosnia to the budget. Perot proved once again he can attract a crowd, and many people here say they would in fact vote for him if he ran for president. But at this point, that's a big if. Perot danced around direct questions about whether or not he would run for president. He says his main goal now is to make sure the Reform Party is on the ballot in all 50 states. In Fayetteville, Tim Brucker, TV5 First Team.
The signs are all there. The opening of what will become the new Interstate 540 is not far away.
The roadway is almost completely done.
The only things left to do are put up a few signs, add some other odds and ends, and finish the Bobby Hopper tunnels. And workers can already see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's the lights inside the tunnel that are keeping traffic from going through. The contractor has to wire up and install more than 1,400 lights, so you'll be able to see when you're driving through the tunnel. And it will take them about another month to do that. But many drivers who will use the new highway had anticipated what will become Interstate 540 would be moving at full speed before the holidays.
Last I heard, it was between November and December, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I was hoping to go home after the finals to go home on the interstate, but I guess not.
But the highway department says the project is not running behind because they never promised it would be open before January of 1999.
People would ask, do you think we can have it done by a certain date? We said, hopefully, maybe. We'll sure try.
But they never gave a guarantee. So for now, drivers will have to wait a few more weeks before they can hit the road. In Northwest Arkansas, Kimberly Hubbard, 5 News.
It may look like it's ready for drivers, but it's not. Construction workers continue to work on the new Highway 71, but the problem is some drivers just can't wait for it to open. and they're taking their Sunday drives a little early.
One of our officers took a call from the contractor that the people were driving on that closed portion of the roadway, and that constitutes a safety situation.
One safety concern is for the contractors who are still working alongside the highway, and in many cases, like this one, they are driving on the wrong side of the road to finish up their work. That's why highway officials are patrolling the area to keep unwanted drivers away.
We're asking people to stay off of it. Of course, as closer as it gets to completion, more people's going to drive on it, but you know, we strongly encourage them not to do so. Number one, it's against the law, and we will take enforcement action where appropriate.
About 20 people have been stopped so far for driving on the new Highway 71, and it's a price that doesn't come cheap. Each person has had to shell out about $75 for the ticket.
The excuses are mainly, well, it's real close to where I live, or I'm just going to drive on it for just a mile or two. It cuts down on my travel time, cuts down on congestion, which it does. But there's all kinds of excuses there.
But probably not one good enough for an officer to let you off the hook if you get caught driving on the new highway. Officers say you've waited this long for the road to open up, you can wait a little longer. In Fayetteville, April Adams, 5 News at 10.
The summer movie season is over, and it's time to pick the 5 best movies of the summer.
And that's not easy. There are so many great movies this summer, I could have picked 10.
Are you kidding? This summer was so weak, I had a tough time coming up with 5.
I guess our list won't be the same.
Not a chance, but I bet there are a few we can agree on.
Like Saving Private Ryan.
We'll see you on the beach. This wasn't my favorite movie this summer, but it is excellent. The best war movie I've ever seen.
The acting, the direction, the whole movie is magnificent. And it deserves all the Oscar nominations it's going to get.
So what else do you figure we'll agree on?
Obviously, The Truman Show.
Good morning!
Jim Carrey is funny and serious, and the whole concept of the movie is very original.
And it's funny. I'm not sure it's as great as it wants to be, but I've got no complaints. Hey, we're on a roll. I'm sure we can also agree on that great Comet Hits the Earth movie, Armageddon. It's the slam-bang blockbuster hit of the summer.
Wrong answer. You mean Deep Impact, the fascinating story of real humans trying to cope with impending disaster.
Oh, that was so boring.
Boring? You want to talk about boring? The X-Files is boring.
How'd you know that was my next pick?
It figures.
X-Files rocks, but you may have to be a fan of the show.
I'm not, and I thought the movie was a waste of time.
Okay, that's 4 of yours. What's number 5?
The Horse Whisperer.
Truth is, I help horses with people problems.
It's romantic, it's mysterious, it's beautiful to look at. A thoroughly wonderful movie.
Chick flick. I skipped it.
Your loss. So tell me, if Private Ryan wasn't your favorite movie, what was?
That George Clooney caper movie, Out of Sight. Every scene in this movie is entertaining, and I don't know anybody who saw it who didn't like it.
I didn't like it at all, even with George Clooney.
Okay, I don't know anyone over 15 who didn't like it.
I don't know anyone who bothered to see it. It was a flop, you know.
Okay, we aimed for a top 5, and I guess between us we've got a top 8. For 5 News at the Movies.
I'm Vivian Rose.
And I'm...
Top 7 if we leave off the X-Files.
Don't start. I'm Steve Voorhees. Now, I dropped the Horse Whisperer. We could get rid of that.
X-Files was
Deep
trash.
Impact.
The Horse
Now,
Whisperer.
that was a rotten
Deep Impact and the Horse Whisperer.